30 circus performers who shocked the world. Rare historical photos. What if everything you thought you knew about the circus was just the surface? Behind the curtain of the old world big top weren't just tricks or illusions, but living marvels. People whose bodies defied all logic, whose lives challenged every expectation. This isn't a fairy tale or a staged performance, these are raw, astonishing realities. What happened to them? And why were crowds both fascinated and terrified? Get ready. We're about to reveal some of the most extraordinary human stories ever to grace the circus stage. Mirren Dejo, the invulnerable man. First up, let's explore a figure with almost supernatural abilities. Mirren Dejo, whose real name was Arnold Gerrit Henskes, born in the Netherlands in 1912. Dejo rose to global fame for an astonishing and almost unbelievable ability. He could pierce his body with sharp objects like swords or large needles without showing any pain, bleeding, or signs of injury. This ability baffled and amazed the entire medical community. Many doctors and scientists conducted thorough examinations, including X-rays, as he performed his acts. The results were always a huge surprise. No trickery or illusion was ever detected, and the swords or needles truly passed through his body, even his internal organs. Yet, Dejo stood strong, sometimes even talking or walking afterward. This unique ability brought him international renown in the 1940s, making him a phenomenon people had to see to believe. However, Mirren Dejo's extraordinary career tragically ended in 1948. During a performance, he accidentally swallowed a needle. Though it initially seemed minor, this accident led to deadly complications, and he passed away prematurely, ending a life full of mystery and talent. Martin Lorela, the human owl. Born in 1885 in Nuremberg, Germany, Martin Lorela possessed a unique ability that left audiences holding their breath. He could rotate his head 180 degrees backward, meaning he could look straight behind him perfectly. This wasn't a simple trick or a visual illusion. It was the result of years of arduous training and a unique physical condition that allowed him to dislocate his cervical vertebrae in a controlled manner without causing any serious injury. He dedicated his life to perfecting this skill, transforming it into a masterful performance. Martin Lorela astonished audiences everywhere he went. He performed in the biggest vaudeville and circus shows of his time, including Ringling Brothers and Ripley's Believe It or Not. With his eerie backward gaze, he was always the center of attention. Not just a physical performer, Martin was also a talented animal trainer, teaching them to perform daring stunts for shows. Myrtle Corbin, the four-legged girl from Texas. Another unique medical case is Myrtle Corbin, known as the four-legged girl from Texas. Born in 1868, Myrtle suffered from diphagus, a rare condition that gave her a smaller, extra pair of legs belonging to an undeveloped parasitic twin. Even more astonishing, she possessed two complete reproductive systems, a medical detail that added to the uniqueness of her condition. Myrtle joined the dime museum circuit at age 13, instantly becoming a sensation. She performed before thousands of curious onlookers, earning a substantial income up to $450 a week, an incredibly impressive sum in the late 19th century. Her fame brought her an unexpected life. Most remarkably, in 1886, Myrtle married Dr. James Clinton Bicknell and gave birth to 5 children. This was extraordinary, defying expectations typically placed on individuals with such serious congenital conditions. Even after her passing, her family decided to encase her coffin in concrete before burial to prevent grave robbers. Johnny Eck, the half-boy. Next, let's head to Baltimore, Maryland, the birthplace of another icon of resilience. Johnny Eck, born in 1911. Johnny was born without the lower half of his torso, a rare condition known as sacral agenesis. For an ordinary person, this might have been an insurmountable tragedy, but Johnny Eck refused to let his condition hold him back. Instead, he lived an extraordinary life full of talent and energy. Johnny astonishingly adapted to his body. He could walk and even run on his hands with remarkable agility. He also performed impressive acrobatics and even played basketball, defying all preconceptions about physical ability. This left audiences utterly amazed and admiring his dexterity. But Jeanie Eck wasn't just a physically talented performer. He was a multi-talented individual, a skilled painter, a talented musician, and even a filmmaker. His fame was truly cemented when he starred as himself in Todd Browning's 1932 film Freaks, a controversial yet iconic film about the lives of human wonders. This role propelled him to new heights, making him one of the most recognizable faces in the world of circus and entertainment. Alice Elizabeth Doherty, the Minnesota Woolly Girl. Stepping into another fantastical world, we meet Alice Elizabeth Doherty, famously known as the Minnesota Woolly Girl. Born on March 14, 1887 in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Alice suffered from an incredibly rare genetic condition called hypertrichosis lanuginosa. This condition caused her entire body to be covered in a thick, soft layer of hair, making her resemble a mythical creature. From a very young age, Alice's unique appearance drew special attention. Her parents, recognizing the potential of her condition in the entertainment industry, decided to exhibit their daughter in sideshows. Alice was widely advertised as the Wolf Girl and quickly became a major attraction. Despite being exhibited publicly, Alice was surrounded by her family's love and lived a relatively normal life. This shows that even under the most unusual circumstances, a child can grow up with care and affection. After retiring in her 20s, Alice chose a different life. She moved to Dallas, Texas, and opted for a more private existence, away from the spotlight and fame. This choice reflected her desire to live a normal life, undisturbed by prying eyes. Prince Randian, the human torso. Next, we'll tell the story of Prince Randian, a truly extraordinary figure known as the human torso or the Snake Man. Born in British Guiana in 1871, Randian was born without arms or legs. For many, this might have been an insurmountable challenge, but Randian transformed it into an opportunity to showcase impressive skills. Despite his physical limitations, he learned to use his torso and head with incredible dexterity. Randian was described as being agile as a cat and strong as an ox. He could perform many daily tasks that most people need hands for: rolling cigarettes, lighting matches, and even shaving himself, all with just his mouth. His dexterity and self-reliance amazed audiences. Randian quickly became a sideshow superstar in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. He joined the famous Barnum's Circus, where he became one of the main attractions. His presence was captivating, but it was his resilience and will to overcome adversity that truly stuck with people. He was also an educated man speaking 4 languages and was married, which further increased admiration for him. He performed until his death in 1934, leaving behind a legacy of defying fate. Chang and Eng Bunker, the original Siamese twins. Chang and Eng Bunker, born in 1811 in Siam, modern-day Thailand, were among the most famous conjoined twins in circus history, joined at the sternum with a conjoined liver, an incredibly rare congenital condition that made their lives inseparable both literally and figuratively. Their arrival in the United States in 1829 quickly captured public attention, making them central figures at circuses and fairs. 1800s audiences were awed and amazed by their astonishing synchronized coordination as they walked, ran, and performed simple tasks, which seemed impossible given their condition. However, Chang and Eng's story went beyond mere performances. Even more extraordinary was that they found love, married 2 sisters, and together raised a large family totaling 21 children, setting a world record for the most children born to conjoined twins. This demonstrated their will to live and their ability to defy fate. Their heartbreaking story ended in 1874 when Chang passed away from a stroke, and Eng, seemingly unable to live without his brother, also died just a few hours later. Their deaths evidenced a bond that was not just physical but spiritual, leaving an unforgettable legacy of brotherhood and a strong will to live. Pascal Pinon, the 2-headed Mexican. Pascal Pinon was initially just an ordinary railway worker in Mexico. However, he had a large growth or tumor protruding from the top of his head, possibly a large cyst or benign tumor. A shrewd showman seized this opportunity and turned it into a sideshow act by attaching a fake face, complete with painted eyes and lips, to create the illusion that Pascal had two functioning heads. He was advertised as the two-headed man, and audiences were told that the second head could blink or move. Although clearly exploited, Pascal made the most of the situation. He used this role to earn money to help his family and improve their lives. Touring with the Cells Floto Circus throughout North America, he became a popular attraction, drawing large crowds curious about his unusual appearance. Eventually, the artificial head was removed, and Pascal chose to leave the spotlight. He returned to a more peaceful life, free from the two-headed image that had defined him for so long. Among these extraordinary tales, what surprised you most about the resilience of the human spirit? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Cuckoo the bird girl. Her real name was Minnie Woolsey, born in Georgia in 1880, and she suffered from a rare condition called Virchow-Seckel syndrome, also known as bird-headed dwarfism. This condition gave her unique characteristics: a small head, a bird-like nose, and a receding jaw, creating a truly bizarre appearance. Cuckoo was a true star on stage. She captivated audiences with her joyful, somewhat high-pitched voice and charming, endearing personality. In her performances, she often wore bird-like costumes, complete with vibrant feathers and headdresses to add authenticity to her nickname. Her acts included quirky bird-like dances and gestures, which delighted and amused audiences immensely. She participated in many sideshows and circuses, and was also famous for her appearance in the 1932 film Freaks, where she played herself. Felix Wehrle, the Elastic Man. Felix Wehrle was born in 1858 in Wisconsin, USA, and from a young age he quickly discovered he possessed impressive physical abilities few others had. He could stretch his skin far from his body, like a piece of chewing gum, a sight that made viewers rub their eyes in disbelief. Not only that, he could also bend his limbs completely backward without breaking a sweat or showing pain. Medical experts of the time studied Felix's case and suggested he might have suffered from Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a genetic condition characterized by weak connective tissue, leading to overly elastic skin and extremely loose joints. Although there was no precise diagnosis at the time, this condition turned Felix into a star. He performed everywhere, amazing audiences in museums and drawing crowds in famous circus shows like the Ringling Brothers Circus. Felix Wehrle's performances were a living testament to the extraordinary and mysterious capabilities of the human body. Schlitzy, the star of Freaks. Next is Schlitzy, a performer with a special appeal, famous for his microcephaly, a condition characterized by an unusually small head and some intellectual difficulties. Born in 1901, Schlitzy became one of the most beloved faces in the world of circus and entertainment. Despite his condition, Schlitzy was a natural performer. With his joyful, infectious laugh and innocent, endearing personality, he quickly became a big success. Whether spontaneously singing songs, performing fun dances, or telling simple jokes, everyone found his unique charm utterly irresistible. Audiences always felt a genuine connection with Schlitzy. Schlitzy's fame truly exploded when he appeared in Todd Browning's 1932 film Freaks, playing himself. This role brought him to a wider audience, and his story taught us a valuable lesson about acceptance and compassion. Pauline Musters, the smallest woman in the world. Born in the Netherlands in 1876, Pauline Musters lived a short but remarkably impactful life. Throughout her life until 1895, she only reached a maximum height of 58 centimeters, or 23 inches, a fact that brought her global renown. Pauline's extremely tiny stature instantly made her a star in the world of sideshows. She had the opportunity to travel the world, performing before thousands of mesmerized audiences in Europe and America. Pauline became a beloved figure not only for her incredible height, but also for her grace and bright, vivacious personality. Unfortunately, her vibrant life was cut tragically short. Pauline Musters died of pneumonia and meningitis in 1895 when she was only 19 years old. Her death left her fans heartbroken. General Tom Thumb, the diminutive talent. Born in 1838, Charles stood only 63 centimeters 25 inches tall and stopped growing in height at just 6 months old, making him one of the most famous little people in history. At just 4 years old, he was discovered by P.T. Barnum, the the renowned entertainment impresario, and quickly became a main attraction at Barnum's American Museum in New York City. Under Barnum's guidance, Charles, later famous as General Tom Thumb, developed into a versatile performer. He could sing, dance, act, and even cleverly imitate historical figures, pleasing audiences with ease. His appeal wasn't limited to the United States. He went on to tour throughout Europe where he performed for royalty, including England's Queen Victoria, and became a favorite of the aristocracy. Tom Thumb proved that size doesn't matter when it comes to talent and charisma. Frank Lentini, the three-legged man. Next is Francesco Frank Lentini, also known as the three-legged man, one of the most unique performers of all time. Born in 1889 in Syracuse, Sicily, Frank was born with a third leg protruding from his right side due to a congenital anomaly. This was part of an undeveloped parasitic twin, but this leg had full features like a foot, toes, and sometimes even a second set of genitals. Lentini did not let this unique feature hinder his life. Instead, he turned it into an opportunity to educate and entertain others. At 8 years old, his family moved to Connecticut, USA, where Lentini quickly became a major attraction in the circus. He often joked about his extra limb, saying he needed to eat 15% more to feed it. In his performances, Frank Lentini demonstrated extraordinary skills like jumping rope and expertly kicking a soccer ball with his third leg. He performed for over 40 years, becoming a legend in the world of sideshows. Edward Mordrake, the two-faced man. Now we'll tell an eerie and controversial tale. Edward Mordrake, the two-faced man. According to legend, Edward Mordrake was born into a wealthy, aristocratic family in England in the 19th century, but he was cursed with a second face at the back of his head. This face was said to constantly whisper evil, malicious, and disturbing things at night. This face didn't speak audibly, but its whispers were supposedly heard only by Edward, driving him to the brink of madness. Desperate to escape this horrific curse, Edward sought help from many doctors and spiritualists. He pleaded with them to surgically remove the second face, believing it was the source of all his suffering. But no one could offer a solution, perhaps due to the complexity of the condition or the lack of medical understanding at the time. Eventually, he succumbed to despair and madness, and is said to have taken his own life at a very young age to end the mental torment he endured. Do you think historical freak shows were exploitation or empowerment for these individuals? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Fanny Mills, the Ohio Bigfoot girl. Fanny Mills, born in the 1850s in Ohio, suffered from a rare condition called Milroy disease, a form of congenital lymphedema that caused significant swelling, primarily in her legs and feet. Her condition caused her feet to reach an extraordinary size, up to 50 centimeters, 20 inches in length, and 20 centimeters, 8 inches in width. These enormous feet were unlike anything most people had ever seen, making her a prominent figure in the sideshow world. Instead of hiding her condition, Fanny chose to embrace it and built a successful career in sideshows. Her unusual appearance attracted great interest, and audiences lined up just to see her. She became a popular figure in the circuit and was able to earn a steady income, providing financial stability for herself and her family. Fanny's fame grew, but her life was not without hardship. She passed away in 1899 at the age of 39. Although her life was short, she left behind a story of resilience, someone who turned her difference into an opportunity and faced life on her own terms. Annie Jones, the bearded lady. Annie Jones, born in 1865 in Virginia, became one of history's most iconic bearded women. From a very young age, she began to show signs of hypertrichosis, a rare condition causing excessive hair growth. By the age of 5, she had already grown a remarkable beard, which was especially notable in an era where strict beauty standards were the norm for women. Her unusual appearance attracted the attention of none other than P.T. Barnum, the legendary showman, who quickly brought her into his world-famous sideshow. Annie quickly became a top attraction, drawing large crowds eager to behold the bearded woman. But Annie wasn't just famous for her beard. She was known for her gentle nature, musical talent, and admirable composure. Annie carried herself with grace and intelligence, earning respect both on and off stage. Over time, she began to use her platform for a greater purpose. to advocate for people like herself. She spoke out against the use of the word freak and promoted better treatment and more respect for performers with physical differences. Annie's legacy is not just about her appearance, but about how she fought for dignity and fairness. George and Willie Muse, the ambassadors from Mars. George and Willie Muse, two African-American brothers with albinism born in Virginia in the late 19th century, their story is one of both exploitation and triumph. In 1899, as young boys, they were kidnapped and forced to work for a sideshow. Their captors renamed them Echo and Eco, the ambassadors from Mars, fabricating a bizarre backstory to draw larger crowds. Their real names in history were hidden, all for profit. The brothers were made to perform under harsh conditions, exhibited as curiosities. But even amidst that injustice, George and Willie's true talent shone through. They were gifted musicians. Playing the banjo and singing with natural harmony, they captivated audiences not just with their appearance, but with their real skills. Their lives took a pivotal turn thanks to their mother, Harriet Muse. She tirelessly searched for them. When she finally found them, she took the case to court and fought tirelessly for her son's freedom. And she succeeded. Afterward, George and Willie chose to stay in entertainment, but this time it was on their own terms. They became successful, wealthy, and independent, transforming their distressing beginnings into a legacy of resilience and self-empowerment. Daisy and Violet Hilton, the Human Wonders conjoined twins. Daisy and Violet Hilton were conjoined twins who became an international sensation, known as Human Wonders in the entertainment world. Born on February 5, 1908 in Brighton, England, they were joined at the hip and buttocks, sharing a common circulatory system but having separate vital organs. Their physical condition made them one of the most famous cases of conjoined twins in the 20th century. From a very young age, the Hilton sisters were pushed into the spotlight, not by choice, but under the control of their adoptive guardian, Mary Hilton. She exploited them, training the girls in music, dance, and performance to create a refined act for profit. For years, their lives revolved around the spotlight and strict control. But things changed in 1931, when Daisy and Violet made a bold move. They filed a lawsuit to free themselves from their guardian's control, and won. This marked a powerful turning point, granting them the right to manage their own lives and careers. They continued to perform, starring in the classic film Freaks in 1932, and later Chained for Life in 1951, which added to their lasting fame. However, as their fame faded, their fortunes dwindled. Eventually, they took odd jobs to make ends meet. In 1969, both sisters tragically died from the Hong Kong flu epidemic. Their bodies were found several days later, a quiet end to two lives that had always been in the spotlight, and side by side, Lionel, the lion-faced man. Now, let's learn about the unforgettable Stefan Bibrowski, known by his stage name, Lionel, the lion-faced man. Born in Poland in 1890, Stefan suffered from hypertrichosis, a rare condition that caused thick hair to grow all over his face and body, giving him the unmistakable appearance of a lion. His striking look was both fierce and strangely captivating. At just 4 years old, he was sold to a German showman, marking the start of a life tied to the stage. Despite his wild appearance, Lionel quickly became famous not just for his looks, but for who he was. Audiences were drawn to the contrast between his animalistic appearance and his calm, kind nature. That surprising gentleness made him an exceptional performer. He didn't just appear on stage, he created a complete persona, combining grace, strength, and charisma. Lionel was known for performing acrobatic feats and impressive displays of strength, proving he had both agility and muscle beneath his thick fur. He became one of the top stars of major circuses, including the Barnum and Bailey Circus. Off stage, he was equally impressive, an intelligent man who spoke multiple languages, known for his composure and engaging conversations. Lionel challenged society's narrow definitions of beauty and normalcy with both dignity and style. Enjoying the video? Comment yes below, so we know you're still with us. Isaac W. Sprague, the living skeleton. Isaac Sprague was born in 1841 in East Bridgewater, Massachusetts. And when he was 12, something puzzling began to happen. He started rapidly losing weight due to an unknown condition. No matter how much he ate, he couldn't gain weight. His body became increasingly emaciated, and his skeletal frame eventually became his defining feature that set him apart. In 1865, Isaac began performing with P.T. Barnum's Circus, marking the start of his career in the sideshow world. His extremely thin body made him one of the most talked-about acts in the show. Wearing outfits that accentuated his bones and slender physique, Isaac amazed audiences who had never seen anything like him. But his act wasn't just about his appearance. He often shared his personal story with the audience, creating a more human and emotional connection. While his condition fascinated the medical community, no one in his time could explain the cause of his extreme weight loss, and it remains a mystery even now. Sadly, despite his fame, Isaac died in poverty in 1887. Hunter, the Pony Boy. Born in 1895 in Missouri, USA, this remarkable man lived with a rare physical condition called congenital genu recurvatum, meaning his legs bent backward. Because of this, he couldn't stand upright or use crutches like others. Instead, he had to move on all fours, mimicking the gait of a pony. His journey to fame began shortly after the Civil War, when he started performing at a small Texas amusement park. His unusual way of moving and incredible agility quickly gained attention, launching him into a successful touring career. Eventually, he joined the famous Tom Mix Circus, where he astonished audiences across North America. For 36 years, he performed before thousands, impressing audiences with his speed, balance, and natural grace as he moved on all fours. Even after retiring from circus life, he remained active. He dedicated his energy to restoring cars and raising rabbits, showing his talents extended far beyond the stage. Horace Ridler, the Great Omai. Horace Ridler was an English aristocrat who made a bold and unexpected life choice. He abandoned his traditional path to completely reinvent himself. He transformed his entire body into a canvas of impressive zebra-striped tattoos, turning himself into what audiences would later know as the Great Omi, or the Zebra Man. His appearance was unlike anything the sideshow world had ever seen. With his entire body covered in black and white patterns, Ridler needed no complex gimmicks or elaborate acts. His act was simple yet mesmerizing. He would stand still, while audiences took in the full impact of his unique appearance. People couldn't stop staring or talking about it. What made Ridler's transformation even more remarkable was the absolute commitment it required. He endured thousands of hours of painful tattooing to achieve his final look. His dedication to becoming a living work of art made him one of the most iconic and unforgettable figures in circus and sideshow history. Maurice Tillet, the French Angel. Next, let's look at the fascinating life of Maurice Tillet, better known as the French Angel, a man whose life story is one of transformation, talent, and a surprising connection to modern pop culture. Born on October 23, 1903 in Russia, Maurice was initially a boy with ordinary appearance and intelligence. But at age 17, things began to change dramatically. He developed acromegaly, a disorder caused by excessive growth hormone production, leading to the enlargement of his skull, jaw, hands, and feet, giving him a distinct and powerful appearance. Even as his appearance changed, Maurice's intellect remained as sharp as ever. He was a cultured, intellectual man who spoke around 10 languages and was also a talented poet. His gentle, thoughtful nature was in stark contrast to the massive and sometimes intimidating figure he became. In 1937, he moved to the United States and entered the world of wrestling. With his imposing physique and raw strength, Maurice quickly made a name for himself as the French Angel, and sometimes the Ogre of the Ring. His presence was intimidating, his moves dominant, and he quickly became a heavyweight champion, winning multiple titles and striking fear into opponents with his unmatched power. Jeanie Tomi, the legless woman. Jeanie Tomi was born without legs, a condition that could have limited her life, but instead became the foundation of an incredible journey. Instead of letting her disability define her, Jeanie turned it into a strength. She amazed audiences with her extraordinary upper body strength and amazing acrobatic skills, performing daring stunts that left people in awe. Her story became even more poignant when she married Al Tomeni, who stood over 8 feet tall. The striking contrast between them, a legless woman and a giant man, turned them into one of the most iconic duos in circus history. But their success wasn't just about their appearance. Together they ran their own show, proving that perseverance, teamwork, and determination were the true keys to success. Jeanie lived a long and meaningful life, passing away at age 82. A remarkable lifespan for anyone, especially someone with a rare condition in the physically demanding world of performance. She also became a strong advocate for other performers, showing that true strength isn't about height or appearance, but about the heart, spirit, and the will to live life on your own terms. Minerva, the strongest woman in the world. On April 29, 1895, Minerva, whose real name was Josephine Blatt, became a sensation as audiences flocked to the Bijou Theater in Hoboken, New Jersey, to witness her, the woman dubbed the strongest woman in the world. At 30, she was already a veteran of the vaudeville circuit, having toured across the United States and Mexico with the Oren Brothers Circus. Minerva's act was known for astonishing displays of strength, including lifting and juggling massive barbells and weights with ease. She could catch heavy cannonballs, bend horseshoes, and tear iron chains. Minerva was also a talented and fierce wrestler. She regularly challenged famous female strongwomen worldwide, but few dared to face her on stage, further cementing her reputation as the strongest. Most notably, during her performance at the Bijou, Minerva requested 18 men from the audience, each averaging 150 pounds, to step onto a wide platform. She then lifted a staggering total of 3,000 pounds, approximately 1,360 kilograms, including the men, platform, and chains, an extraordinary world record at the time, and credited in the Guinness Book of Records as 3,564 pounds. Unlike many other performers who relied on stage tricks or fake weights, Minerva was renowned for being an honest performer, willing to prove her strength publicly. She was a pioneer, not just for her act, but for her pure physical strength, setting her apart from later strong women who often relied on gymnastics, aerial acts, or sex appeal. Lucia Zarate, the smallest fully developed woman. Finally, we come to the story of Lucia Zarate, both astonishing and heartbreaking. Born with primordial dwarfism, she holds the record as the smallest adult woman ever recorded. As an adult, she stood only 20 inches, about 50 centimeters tall, and weighed less than 5 pounds, about 2.2 kilograms. Her extremely tiny stature made her a medical marvel, and a natural wonder that captivated people everywhere she went. But Lucia wasn't just famous for her size. She was vibrant, intelligent, and full of personality. She toured extensively throughout the United States and Europe, captivating audiences with her serene demeanor and how she interacted with crowds. People flocked to see her, not out of pity, but for the joy and wonder she brought to the stage. She became one of the most beloved figures in the sideshow world. Tragically, her life ended prematurely in 1890. While on a grueling tour, the train carrying her became stranded in a severe blizzard. With freezing temperatures and no way to escape the cold, Lucia's tiny, frail body couldn't survive. She succumbed to hypothermia, a heartbreaking end to a life that had brought so much wonder and warmth to others. After hearing these extraordinary stories, what impressed you most about the resilience of these human marvels? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this fascinating journey of discovery, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share. Back to yesterday with your fellow history lovers. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.